This is a casual and beginner-friendly guide to Augmentation Evoker in 11.2, Season 3 of The War Within. We're going with Scale Commander because it's easier for beginners. What we have here on the left is our top priority and our bottom priority on the right. Now, what you can see here that's recharging, that I have 5 of, or nearly 5 of, is Essence. We do use mana as an Augmentation Evoker, but we also have Essence, and that is one of the main resources we will be using. So, Augmentation are there to augment their allies. Number 1 priority is going to be Prescience, and you want to be using this on your best DPS. So basically, you grant an ally 3% extra critical strike chance, and occasionally copying their damage and healing spells at 15% power for 18 seconds. It affects the nearest ally within 25 yards, preferring damage dealer, if you do not have an ally targeted. So if you're using something like Voodoo, which is for raid frames, if you do want to use that, check out my channel, just search it on there, I've got a tutorial for it. Basically, if you target the top DPS, it will go to them. If you just hit it like that, it will just go to the nearest ones. So it really depends up to you if you care enough to do it on the best DPS. Obviously, you should be, but this is a beginner guide, so it doesn't mean that everyone's going to be caring that much. Then we have Blistering Scales. Always use this on the tank. That's your number 2 priority. Protect an ally of explosive dragon scales and you're increasing their armor by a percentage of your own armor. Melee attacks against that target will cause one of the scales to explode, causing Thorns damage, basically, in volcanic damage, to enemies near them. And that can happen every few seconds. So put that one on the tank, put Prescience on your top DPS. Then we have Ebb and Might. You basically want to keep this up as much as you possibly can. Increase your 4 nearest allies' primary stat, so strength, agility, intellect, by 5% of your own, and cause you to deal 22% more damage. It can only affect 4 allies at once and doesn't affect tanks or healers, meaning it will only affect DPS. Now, the interesting thing here is we want to extend our Ebb and Might. So Eruption, which is this one here, Breath of Eons, which is this next spell here. Both of these are, and your Empower spells, which is things like Fire Breath, where you can see it says 1, 2, 3, and Upheaval, 1, 2, 3. I'll explain those shortly, but basically all of those spells will extend the duration of Ebb and Might. So number 3, keep Ebb and Might up as much as possible by actually using Ebb and Might. Then we go on to one of the ones that extends it, Breath of Eons. You fly forward, exposing a temporal rift on enemies in your path, and you grant Ebb and Might for 5 more seconds. It removes roots and grants immunity to movement impairing effects. 11% of the damage dealt by allies affected by Ebb and Might is copied as arcane damage to enemies. So you basically just want to use that on cooldown, and you kind of fly forward, hitting the enemies in your path for that. Then we have Tip the Scales. This is the exact same cooldown, 1.8 minutes. Compress time to make your next empowered spell cast instantly at its maximum empower. So, what is empower spells then? If you look at Fire Breath here, you can see that it's on a 27-second cooldown. And can you see it says 1, deals 92,000 damage instantly and X amount over 24. At number 2, it deals a lot more damage instantly, but a little bit less over 18 seconds. And number 3 deals a lot of damage instantly and less over 12 seconds. So basically, if I hold it down, you can see it's going 1, 2, and 3. And basically, when you use Tip the Scales, your next Empower spell, like Fire Breath, will be instant cast, but will actually cast at maximum rank. So we've also got Upheaval. This is another Empower spell. You'd actually only need to cast this at rank 1 unless you need a bigger area of effect. Basically, you do a load of damage and throw enemies up in the air. It will also increase the duration of Ebb and Might by 2 seconds. And basically at number 1, it's 3 yards, at 2, it's 6 yards, at 3, it's 9 yards. So when you're using your Tip of the Scales, use that on Fire Breath at max rank. Don't use it on Upheaval, but do use Upheaval at rank 1 unless you need a bigger radius. Then we have Eruption. Ideally, you'd cast this with Ebb and Might active, cause a violent eruption beneath an enemy's feet, causing volcanic damage split between them, and again increases the active duration of Ebb and Might. Lastly, we have Living Flame. This is going to be your filler spell, okay? Use this as your filler. It normally has a cast time, but sometimes it will be instant. And then if you're on the move, we have Azure Strike, which is always instant, and that is literally used, well, it also slows down enemies, but you're just using that when you're literally on the move. We do have a few talents that are important to us, like Essence Burst. Your Living Flame has a chance, and your Azure Strike has a chance to make your next eruption cost no essence. That's this one here. If you see it light up, then that's what's happened. When you consume that Essence Burst, you will also be granted some intellect, so do use it when appropriate. And those are really the main ones. So let's see what else we have in our arsenal. As well. So we do have, we are a augmentation evoker, so we can be helping out in lots of ways. We have Blessing of the Bronze. Put this on your allies at all times. It lasts an hour. We have Obsidian Scales. This is a defensive, reducing damage by 40%. That's a defensive just for you. A Pressing Roar. Let out a bone-shaking roar at enemies and a cone in front of you, increasing the duration of crowd control effects. Quell is your interrupt for interrupting enemy spellcasting, very useful in Mythic Plus. This rotation I have shown you, by the way, is to be used in Mythic Plus and Raids. It's pretty much the same. We also have Renewing Blaze. The flames of life surround you. While this is effective active, 100% of damage you take is healed back over 8 seconds. Fury of the Aspects is Bloodlust or Heroism, increasing the haste of all party and raid members by 30%. That is the most powerful cooldown in the game. So use this when your raid or group leader tells you if you're not sure when. We also have Source of Magic, which I want you to use on a healer. Redirect your excess magic to a friendly healer for an hour. When you cast an empowered spell, like Fire Breath, you actually restore a bit of their mana per Empower level. So if you do it at level 3 Empower, you're going to be restoring 0.75% of their mana, which is really helpful. Speaking of healers, we also have Spatial Paradox. Evoke a paradox for you and a friendly healer, allowing casting while moving and increasing the range of most spells by double for 10 seconds. It will affect the nearest healer unless you target someone. And that is pretty much it. We do have a few other passives and also all of the other talents. I would recommend that you go through these in your own time. Just read through the talents once you're comfortable with the rotation and then just see how it all comes together a bit more. But I don't want to overwhelm you as this is a beginner guide. But like I said, just go through that rotation I've shown you, get used to it. So get used to the what and then be like, right, I'm really comfortable with the what. I've put it into practice. Now I'm going to go behind the scenes and look at the why a bit deeper. And just reading over each one line by line, and you're going to really understand why you're doing those things a bit better. But I have explained to you the most important ones here today. Do everything in this order and you'll be doing it the right way. If you're looking for other specs or classes, then check out the playlist you now see on screen.